How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today, I'm going to talk about where I would invest $1,000 if I were to start my whole investing career all the way from the start. $1,000 is not too much, and you can do a very, very good job. Let's say in one single year, you double your assets. That's $1,000 more dollars. It's not very much money. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if I were to talk to my nephew or a son or something like that, I would tell them, you still need to invest, but you don't have to push as hard to put so much money in, because whatever capital that you start with is not going to be as important as actually doing it. And I think the value is in learning how to invest, not from the potential gains. Even if you 10x it, $1,000 to $10,000 is not very much.
This video is brought to you by Dreo. This is their latest, just released 2 weeks ago, MC706 2-in-1 tower heater fan. They're actually the best-selling heater brand on Amazon in the US for the past 2 years in a row. So I got to using this and it makes all my other heaters look like antiques. 5 heat settings, and it'll automatically change the fan speed depending on the power used. It uses a special PTC heating element, which stands for positive temperature coefficient. When it starts up, it draws a lot more current so that it can start up quicker. Ultra quiet on its lowest heat setting mode, it's only 25 dBs. Auto shift PTC mode, moving the heating elements out of the way when you use the fan only mode so it doesn't restrict airflow. And as a result of this, the maximum wind speed can be 29.2 feet per second, which is the highest in their entire line of tower fans. The Fort plug incorporates temperature sensing right inside the plug. That's another layer of safety feature I've never seen in other heaters before, but it just makes sense. If you guys are interested in getting this brand new Dreo tower fan, check out my affiliate link down in the video description below.
So you can either learn about stock investing by some simulation, but then it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be emotionally invested in it. It's not going to hurt badly if you lose money, and you're not going to learn. So I think I didn't really learn myself until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where I started investing more in S&P 500 index funds. And by that time, my portfolio is over 100K. So it matters a lot more. If it goes up like this year, 20, 30%, that's $30,000. I can live an entire year just on that. I also think that everybody is made very, very differently. They're going to react differently to the stock market dropping or increasing. You need to have a level head, and you really have to go through the paces in order to figure yourself out. And that's what needs to be done over a period of, 10 years, 15, 20 years even, just to know yourself. I personally invested in all kinds of different things. I started in high school even. How did I get a stock investment account? Well, that's another story. And at first, I traded penny stocks because they were so fun. I invest in something and then all of a sudden it goes up so much, 10x, and then the next day it would go down. I ended up doing a lot of transactions, and in the end there were a lot of tax implications that caused things to not work out very well. Even though I didn't make a lot of money and I didn't lose a lot of money, I no longer invested in penny stocks because I just got burned from that. So something you have to learn. Or I can just tell you, don't invest in penny stocks. When I first went to college, I walked into a Chase Bank and then I saw all this mutual fund stuff that's all saying like, oh, last few years we made 20% gain per year. I got sucked into it. I started buying mutual funds, and then unsurprisingly afterwards I didn't make very much money. They just collected all the fees off of the mutual funds. I don't recommend mutual funds, so I'll just tell you that right there. Sometime after that, I'm like, okay, I still like picking stocks. Let me pick something a little bit more stable. Let me buy like larger cap stock like Sony. And what I learned from that one is you need to look at the company as a whole. Just don't like one single product that they hold. And if you do, you got to know how much percentage of revenue do they generate just from that one single product. I really liked PlayStation 3 back then. I'm like, oh, let me buy Sony stock. I think it's the best thing ever. But no, it's a huge business. They sell TVs and all this stuff. I held on to it for many years. It went down, it went up, and then in the very end, I had all this capital sitting there, not generating any income. And in the end, it was kind of break even. So if you take into inflation into account, if I could have invested in an index fund instead, I could have made 10% a year or something on average. So that would have been better. But luckily, I was still young. I was making small money, wasn't even a full-time job kind of thing, getting my money from summer jobs and stuff. So it was in the order of 1,000 to 10,000 or so. But I learned valuable lessons there about each type of assets. And then later on, after I graduated, I think for a year or so, I started actively trading. Like I had so much volume. I think it was around like $2 million that are total amount of purchases and sell. So I just kept on buying and then I watch it, I wasn't doing any kind of technical analysis, charting it or anything. I'm just like, okay, it's kind of high. Let me sell over there, and then it drops. Okay, let me buy, right? Or the reverse even. And then in the end, I didn't make very much money. It was just break even. Lots of transactions. And then I ended up paying the brokerage a lot of money because every single time I traded back then, it might be like $10 or $30. So, you do 100 trades, I pay them $3,000, $6,000 or so. And all of that money they get to keep. I get nothing. My money just kind of stays flat all the way through. And I think I got suckered into that because I believe it was E-Trade. And they did a very evil thing to me, which is to give me a Wall Street Journal subscription. I didn't even ask for it. They just sent it to me. It started arriving on my doorsteps. And after I had it for a while, I was like, kind of itching. I read it and then I'm like, oh, I want to buy this stock or sell that stock or whatever. I thought I knew what I was doing because I got the Wall Street Journal now. I totally think they knew what they were doing there when they sent me a newspaper that would cause you to trade a lot more on that platform. So watch out for that. If you ever get a free subscription, really, really be careful on that. And then later on, I still try to time the market, buying individual stocks. And I've learned that I can't time the market. So now I invest in the market, assuming I never know what I'm doing. When I buy, I never assume that is the top. So if you have this mentality, just say, I'm always going to be wrong. Whatever thing you do, it's always going to be, 50% chance. For example, let's say the stock market index fund, right now it's all-time highs. You think, oh my gosh, it's all-time high. It's going to drop, right? It's not really going to drop. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's going to make all-time highs for the next 10 years or so. So with that in mind, let's just say there's a 50-50 chance of that happening. What are you going to do? At least for me, I am a little bit heavy on assets right now. I have about 1/3 in cash. I am thinking of slowly moving that, kind of twisting the dials a little bit so that I am more like 50% cash, kind of like Warren Buffett portfolio, so then this is still timing market sort of, but it's sort of trying to at the same time dollar cost average. When I'm doing a sell, I don't say I know what I'm doing. This is the top. Let me sell all of it, right? Instead, I do like small little tweaks. I like sell maybe 10%, 25% of the total amount of whatever stock that I'm selling. So when you do this, you are essentially taking a little bit of the profits. In case it ever drops like a rock, then you can feel good that, hey, at least I got like 25% of the profits. And then when you did, you can just use whatever profits that you've been holding in cash, buy it back in, right? So you still win, you're not losing as much. And then on the flip side, right? If you sold 25% and it keeps on going up, then you can go, okay, fine, I didn't win as much, right? So this is kind of like gives you a soft landing either way. Personally, I feel like I do the best whenever I trade a couple of times a year, 3-4 times a year. I read somewhere that people who do that many trades per year, not zero, right, in their retirement accounts, those are the accounts that does the best. You guys gotta have to look up that article somewhere, but I read it before and I kind of believe it. So then I'm like, okay, if you're gonna trade, do one single trade per quarter, because at least you're moving things a little bit. Otherwise, if you have it all invested in, you just ride the market. It goes up, it drops down 50%, 80% sometimes, and then you have to wait 2-3 years before it recovers. So, and I'm not even saying that everyone should do exactly what I do, because remember what I said here. Everybody is different. You have to know yourself. I personally get high blood pressure if I watch the market every single day and, try to trade. So I take a longer term view. I don't actually have to trade that morning at 6:30 in the morning and make a sell or make a buy. I can do it, the next week, the next month or so, and things would be roughly the same because I do somewhat a slow movement on my buys and sells. In that effect, I'm never going to catch, the highest high or the lowest low. On average, things work out. You just have to stay with the pace that you are. So if you have $1,000, I would still recommend trading. I wouldn't push so hard. You are evaluating yourself, what kind of investor you are. Do you have the urge to do day trading? Do you have the urge to trade different things, to learn about different kinds of assets? Or are you just going to go with the tried and true, where you just keep on buying the stock market index fund every single month, right on the dot? That can work as well, of course. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.